Hi and welcome again. In this video, we are going to build our remaining Twitter clone. So I have started a Twitter clone series on this YouTube channel before 2 months. So I want to continue that. So till now, as you can see on the screen, we have completed the authentication part. If you go here and you can see we have completed this authentication, and you can visit the code rip in the description. And I have recently pushed all the authentication part also. So you can see this is my commit and I have pushed all the things related to authentication. So now we just need to build the remaining clone of our Twitter. And we will also use ChatGPT if we need any help. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to enable row level security policies for all the tables. Currently, all the tables are public, which means anybody can access our data and modify it and can fetch it. So we don't want that. So we will go to the Supabase dashboard, home, and go to the database part, and in the tables, and here I think we have policies. So table editor, go here, hashtags, you can see all the tables, and the tables have row level. You are allowing anonymous access to your table. So we have to enable all row level securities. So to do that, go to authentication, and in the policies, clear the search box and you will find all the tables here, and enable the policies for all the tables. So you can enable the policies. You can also enable all the policies by running a SQL query, but we are doing it manually because we don't have many tables and we can do this manually. It is easy. We have enabled the row level security policies, which means nobody can access our tables now. But if we try to access from our database URL or database connection string, the database connection string have privilege to access all the tables and all the data. So that's why we are going to use server components, and inside server components we will fetch the data, so that we don't have to compromise our security, our row level security policies, and everything we are going to do is in the server side. Okay, so you will see what I'm saying. So first of all, this is our project, and I will start this project by running. So we are using here pnpm, and we will say pnpm run dev, and we will take a demo of first what we have built till now. So we have env.local and everything is looking good now. So this is our app directory because we are using the latest Next.js features. That's why. So let's go to localhost 3000 and we will see how it is looking. You can see this is not looking good because I have enabled the zoom. So let me, so 150%, it's good, looking good. So currently we are signed in or not, how get that? So if you click on the profile, the page doesn't exist. If you click onto it, nothing exists for now. The training part, the home to follow part. So what we have to do now, we have to check if we are authenticated or not. We will make this responsive in the later videos. So if you go to Supabase provider, so here we are providing everything, okay? And if we try to tweet something, hello world, we try to tweet, it doesn't work. So we are getting the profiles and we are saying that it doesn't exist. Yeah, so this is our provider, this is dialog, set is open. Yeah, so we are logged in basically. So to check if we are logged in or not, console.log, we will log the current Supabase user. So here we will console.log supabase.auth.user.get user, and that's all. Let's log this thing. Okay, so it is, let's see, we want the current user who is logged in. So there are a lot of things, get user, get session. Let's see the get session thing. Okay, this is also returning the promise. So what we can do, we can log here. We'll check the result here. It will refresh and here we are. So you can see we are logged in. This is our user, this is my email, and everything is looking good. But for the authentication, I think we can use something called server context or server session to see if we are logged in or not. So now we will implement the tweet functionality. If I tweet something here, or let's say I copy some paragraphs. So this is the raycast extension. You can also install this. It is pretty handy. You can install this, it's great. You can directly copy lorem ipsum. You can also do the confetti thing. It is pretty good, you can see. So yeah, you can install this. So this is our text, and if you try to tweet, it doesn't work now. So we will implement this functionality. So in the main component, this is our home, this is our input text, and this is our tweet button. So tweet composer, we will create another component. So recently, when I have created or when I have started building this tweet clone, Next.js released a few more features like Next.js server actions. So we can utilize these server actions to mutate the data inside our database so that we don't have to do all the API stuff. So let me show you what is Next.js server actions. You can see this is how we will create a form and we will declare this as a server code, and we can directly, you can see save to DB, and this is all running on server. This is not running on client, this is running on server. So this is very easy to do, and we will do this now. So first of all, what we will do inside the components, let's close it. In the source directory in the components, these are the components, these are server components by default. So we will create another component. So I think we can create a folder called server components so that we can differentiate what is server component and what is not. So we can also do it like this. This is nothing bad in naming like this, and we can say compose tweet, and this is a server component. Okay, and what we will do, RAFCE compose tweet. Okay, so we have renamed wrong, compose tweet. So this is our compose tweet, and what we will do, we will just use the latest Next.js server actions. So as you can see, we can fetch the data like that, and we are doing that in the Supabase provider. Here you can see this is a client component. You can see this is a client component. So, okay, so we are not fetching any data as for now. So we will use this technique to fetch our data directly. You can see, we can directly fetch the data. We can cache the data using the get static props, and we will see how to do that also. So this will speed up our page reload. And then we can also revalidate the data like this when we are using the get static props, and this is how we can mutate the data directly using the server components. So now let's do this. So this is our function, and we will use this thing. So copy this thing. So this is a function which we will say compose tweet like this, or submit tweet. You can do is submit tweet also, or save tweet into the DB, whatever you want to name it. Save submit tweet. This will take a tweet text tweet, and it is a string, simple, and it is a use server. You can see this is a use server, but I think we have to update our Next.js version, because I haven't updated anything after I left building this in the past 2 months. So this is the version we are using, 13.3. And what is the latest version of Next.js? Next.js, let's go. Okay, so I think we have to go to the GitHub. So the latest version is 13.4.7. So I think we can update it. Close the server first. npm update next. It will update over. Let's see. Okay, already up to date. I think what we can do, this is remove this thing and we can install this again. So it will update. Find the next, not here. Okay, so it is uninstalled. We have to do it again because I haven't saved that thing. Yeah, now you can see Next.js 13.4.7. So if you are watching this tutorial, please update this thing. Otherwise, the server actions may not work. I don't know. So you can see we have removed the 13.3 version and we are upgraded to Next.js 13.4.7. Clear everything. npm run dev again. It may create some problems. Let's see if this is working or not. Okay, so it is working. So inside the compose tweet, now we can use this thing. So let's comment it out first. So this is our server thing and we can get the data like this. We'll see how to work with that thing. So first save this thing. Let's see if your application is still working or something is broken with the updated version. Yeah, so it's working. It's working fine, you can see. So now we will integrate our server actions. Action and the add item. And then, okay, so we have to enable the server actions from our next config. So this is also you should remember. So go to the next config and we have to enable the server actions like that. Inside the component that uses server components and in the separate files. Cool. I just want to know how we are getting the data. So this is the data and we are doing add item and it is getting the data from cookies, but we want to know an action is similar to HTML primitive action. Okay, so it is same as HTML action. Okay, so I think we can get the data from the form action. Let's see. Custom invocation using start transition. You can also invoke server actions without using action or form action. You can achieve this by using start transition provided by use transition hook, which can be useful if you want to use server actions outside of the form button or inputs. Okay, so we can actually use server actions without using a form component. This is what this means. Cool. Like this is a like button. So when we will implement our like functionality or bookmark functionality, we will use this thing. And you can see this is saying that use Vercel KB, which is a new feature, or we can say the new integration in Vercel, which is a KB, or we can say the Redis database. Inside under the hood, it is using something called Upstage. This is a serverless data for Redis. You can have a look at it if you want. Yeah, this is how this is working. This is a client component. This is what we were doing when we were handling things in React, basic simple React. But now time has changed and we will do things differently. So first, let's see how we are getting the data. So this is how we are getting the data, form data, just like it. And we will see how it is working. So this is our form data, and we will console.log this. And it will console.log in our server here, not in the client in the browser. This will log the data inside here in the terminal. So first, let's copy everything from our main component, which is this. Okay, so this is our main component, and let's cut this thing, paste it here, and we can say this is a form. We can remove this thing, save this. Now here we can say action, and here we can define submit to it. It is saying that, yeah, let's see how this works. So action, and this is action, form data and form data. Good. Why it is complaining? So import the compose like this. It will, okay, so I think we have to do something with our responsiveness. This is looking ugly. Okay, so what we will do, we will hide it when this is smaller. So in the sidebar, right sidebar, I think we can hide both of the sidebar when the screen is smaller. So here what we can do, here we can use hidden and only be visible when the screen is greater than large screen. We can do the same for right sidebar. Here we can say this is hidden by default and only be shown after the screen is larger. This is how. So now if we refresh this, you can see this is hidden. So what we can do, we can do it after Excel. So if the screen size is extra large, hide both of those things. Now it's good. But you can see this is also breaking this thing, and this is overflowing from the container. So which is where, so we have to fix some styling in our home. So if you go to the main component, okay, so let's comment this out. This is whole thing. So let's remove this thing, and yeah, now it is taking the full width. We can also do only after the Excel, the width is 50%, otherwise the width is like this. So now it is good. You can see it is looking good, but still when the screen is too small, this is overflowing. So we need to fix this thing, this tweet list. So for that, inside the here, so let's give it width full. We are giving it border, that's good. Overflow hidden. So now the overflow is hidden, but we don't want the overflow to be hidden. We want this to be contained inside the flow. So why we are facing this problem? Let's see. Okay, this is same problem after. So we have to remove the whole thing. We don't want overflow to be hidden. We want it to be contained inside this. So it is not contained. It may because we are giving some fixed width to something. Okay, so this is width, height, and 10. This looks good to me, but let's wait for some fix here. Yeah, it's still broken. So we want to make the height or the font is smaller. So for that, we can say after the Excel, the fonts, I don't know what is causing the problem. So I will comment it out and I will see. It is the image which is causing the problem, this thing. So if we comment it out, not this image, where is our full image? Yeah, this thing. So we are giving it height of 80 and we are not giving it width full. So this is the thing which is causing the problem. So if we comment it out, no, it is still causing the problem. We want it to be contained. Okay, so this is not the problem. I'm showing you how I'm fixing this problem, so you will also get the intuition behind everything. How about commenting this out? Border rate 500, border 2. So this is our container, and it is good, but this is not containing this inside. This is bad. The resource URL was preloaded using link preload, but not used within a few seconds from the Windows. Okay, so we will fix this error also. Extra attribute server. So let's focus on building the feature now. We will see how to fix this thing later, or I believe we can fix this by making it grid. Sometime that helps grid. Last try. Otherwise, if we don't give it anything, what will happen? Okay, something is broken now. And that's the reason it is broken. The reason this thing is broken is this. We are defining a maximum width and we are trying to squeeze this, and it is taking that width. So that's the reason of this is not working. So you can see this is getting out of hand. So here, if we remove this, you can see now it is contained inside this. That is good part. So here what we can do, only give this max width when this is greater than Excel. Otherwise, width full is good. So if we try to increase this, you can see now it is responsive. If we squeeze it, yeah, you can see this is responsive and looking good. Cool. Now we can work on this thing. So if we try to, yeah, it's good. So if we try to submit something, hello world, and we should be able to see something here, form data. So for that, we need to define something on submit, or I think action, which is submit tweet. And this is taking the form data. Yeah, so this is the text and the form data. We don't know what is this, but we will see. If we tweet something, let's see the, okay, so we are not getting anything. So let's see the documentation, how it works. Okay, so we haven't given this button, the submit. Type is submit. And this is inside the form, you can see. So now if we try to submit this, there is still nothing. Type is text, action, form data. Okay, this is a client component. Here we need server Why it is complaining? It is saying it is not async. Okay, any. Let's go for any as for now. So this action text, action.js, use server. So the problem we are facing was, if you remove this, this will complain and TypeScript is not happy. So to avoid that, you can use as any. This is a just temporary fix. I hope Next.js will fix this issue as soon as they can. But now, because this server, or we can say this function or this functionality is still in alpha phase, which you can read over here. You can go to blog. You can read that this server actions is still in alpha phase. So you can see this is good, but we have to be careful to use this in production. This tutorial is just for beginners, or we can say for learning purpose, so we can use this thing, but do not use this thing in production because this thing is still not in production phase. So let's just build our application by using this temporary fix. So we can say temporary fix. Okay, so now if you go to your application, which is our application, and hello world server actions like that, and if you hit tweet, you can see we are getting our data over here. I have also put the name attribute over here and the type attribute over here. So now it is working. You can see hello world server actions, and we are getting our data inside our server, and we can directly mutate our database from here. So what we can do, yeah, you can get the tweet over here just like that. If you see in the console, we have a name and we have a value. So we can say form data dot get tweet. So it will give us the value of the tweet. So you can also confirm it by console.log tweet. Save this thing, and if you click on tweet, you can see we are getting the tweet value. Now you can verify this, or you can check if this value is truthy, or you can say this value is good to put in our database. If you can check, if no tweet, then simply return. And if this tweet is exist, we can directly insert this into our Supabase table. So we can say const data and const error, we can say Supabase. Import the Supabase client, but here we need our server Supabase client. So for that, where we can get our Supabase server client. So inside the app directory, layout is our Supabase provider. Let's see if we have any Supabase server client. So first, I think we need to create a server client. So using Supabase with Next.js app router. So this is the, what we can say, this is the blog article which we have followed to build our Supabase authentication. You can see we have also created a middleware called something. This is a create middleware Supabase client, and yeah, so this is how we are getting the Supabase client. We are using TypeScript over here. This is authentication, and this is what we were doing previously. Yeah, so this is, they have given the example of a server action here. You can see directly without using anything like client component. Create server action client, and we will pass the cookies, and now we will have our client. Everything is looking good. So this is how we can create our server action client. So we will create our server client, import this first, import from Supabase, import the database. Okay, so it is being imported from auth helper Next.js. Create server Supabase client. This is what we need. Create server Supabase clients. And import the cookies from here. I think we don't need this thing, and it will ask us to something. Okay, so create server Supabase client. How about this? So I think they have also changed the documentation, and this is not exported from auth helpers Next.js. A lot of things have changed. Create server action client. What are the create browser, create middleware, create route handler, create server component Supabase client. So this is what we need. Create server component Supabase client, and inside this we can pass our cookies from like this. What else it needs? it needs headers. Also import the headers from there. So now it is working. So Supabase dot from. So the table we have named is, we can also, so you can see all our tables because we are using this database types here. So we have bookmarks table, hashtags, likes, profiles, tweets. So inside the tweets, we need to insert a row. So tweets dot insert, and here we can specify our values just like that, and it is, you can see this is auto completion is given to us by TypeScript, and it is pretty good. So profile ID. So here we will give the profile ID, which we will get from supabase.auth. So first we need to get the user. So here we will get the user const. So await supabase.auth.get session or get user, I think. So it will return as the user which has data and error. So in the user data, we can say this is the user data. It is user error. If the user error exists, return. And if the user data exists, then log this thing. So we will log this and we will see how it is working. First we will go here, we will tweet, and you can see we are getting the user data. So this is the user ID we are getting, and everything is looking good. So first of all, we will go to the authentication. In the profiles, we will see if we have the same ID inside our profile ID as well. So you can see this is the ID we have. Copy this, and this is the same ID. Yeah, this is the same ID which we need here. Okay, so we will insert this into our tweet. So if you go to the tweets tables, here we have mapped this profile ID to user ID. If you edit the column, you can see this is mapped to the profile ID, and which is the same ID which is here we are getting. So now we can see await supabase.from, and we can say tweets.insert. Okay, I want to disable this Copilot extension. I don't like this. I will disable this thing. Insert, and now we can insert our things here. ID will be created automatically. So profile ID is user data dot user dot ID, like that. Other thing we need is text. So the text is tweet. Next thing we need is ID. Okay, so it is saying that we need ID. So we can generate a ID, not a big thing. So this is a UUID, and we can generate it by UUID from the crypto. And it is saying that form data entry value is not assignable to type string. So tweet dot, we can convert this to a string, and now it is looking good. So this is how we are directly mutating our data without compromising our security inside server components using the server actions, and it is pretty simple. You can see we can do one thing here. We can directly pass the ID, the user ID from the form, but that is another approach, but this is far more secure because we know that the user is logged in or not, and this is pretty sweet. Save this thing, and then we need to reload the page. We will refetch all our tweets. So if you go to the main components, here we are getting the tweets. So this is also a server component. So what we will do, we will create a const get tweets. This is a server components, and we will fetch all the tweets from our Supabase client. So the same thing, I think we can export this from a utils folder, something like that. The whole thing, we can export it here. Import cookies and import the headers as well, and Supabase server client, just like that. Save this thing. We will see if this is working or not. Remove this, Control T, import this from utils. Let's check this thing is working or not. Okay, so you can see this is not working because we are also importing this TW merge here. So instead, what I will do, I will create a new library called Supabase here, supabase.ts. I will import everything inside this because it is conflicting with the client package, which is this Tailwind merge and the CLX package. So now it is not conflicting, and here we can import this again from our Supabase server client, and now it will not conflict. Yeah, you can see hello world. This is a new tweet. We will tweet this. So it is saying error, something went wrong. Okay, why it went wrong? Because of this extraction we have did. I want to use it everywhere, but we can't use this because the cookies and headers are different. I don't know. This is the same error which we are getting. I think we can't do this. Why we can't do this? Let's see. Yeah. So we have to initialize this again and again for every component. This is not good. I want to use the Supabase server everywhere without getting worried. So I think we can create a client hook also, and we can use this, remove this, and Supabase client, import this thing. We are using the database, and here it will need Supabase client, new Supabase client. It will need the Supabase URL, which is env. Import, can say the process.env. It needs first argument is Supabase URL. So we can say Supabase URL, and the second one is process.env dot the Supabase key. Here we will use the secret key, Supabase secret key, which is a key that has privileged access to all the rows, and it can bypass the security of row level securities we have. So it is the like admin key or something. So it is saying that it can be undefined. So we can say as a string. We can fix this. This is a temporary fix. This is not a good idea. I will tell you how to improve your managing your environment variables, just like we do in the T3 stack. So now we can remove these things. We will try this thing first. So I will now go to env. Here we have next public Supabase URL. This is the same thing which we will use here. And this is the next public NN key. So this is the public key and it doesn't have any access. So we want the secret key, which is a server key, Supabase secret key. And I will go now to Supabase dashboard and I will copy that key here. So in the API, so this is service rows. This is what I'm talking about. And I will reveal this. I will copy this and I'm hiding this because this is a secret key and you should also keep this secure. So now we have Supabase secret key and we have Supabase public key, and we will use this client here. So instead of using this, let's see if now this will work or not. Refresh the whole thing, try this. We are just trying and we will see if it is working or not. Supabase key is required. Okay, so we have the Supabase key here. Let's log this thing out so we can see what is happening here. Process.env.next. I think separating it out, it doesn't work. Okay, so let's remove this thing. We have to use it again and again. We have to create this again and again. So Control Z. Now this is good. So we have to use this. We have to use this const Supabase. We have to create this again and again. We can't use this only once. So we have tried it and we have tested and it is not working like that. Okay, so now we need to revalidate or refresh the page after we have done this thing. So we can revalidate the tag. We can use the revalidation. So I think revalidate path. So what we need to do is first go to the main component. In the next video, we will do this. Let's not stretch this video longer than that. It's already a little bit longer. So in the next video, we will fetch all the tweets we have created and we will proceed to build this application further. Thank you.